Would Undefined be where it's at today? If I stopped after Ava Duvernay, would it be where it's at today? If I stopped after Charlamagne, if I stopped after Matt Bar, if I stopped after one celebrity was seen in my clothes and thought that I made it just because one celebrity was seen in my clothes, I feel like, honestly, I feel like I'll make it when I touch enough people.
That's real.
When I see my message everywhere, then I'll feel like I'll made it.
That's
you
real.
know, like.
That's real.
That's when I feel like I can start changing the lives of people in my community, like offering internships, offering scholarships, different things like that. Then I'll feel like, okay, I've achieved my purpose in life. And now I can feel like I can say I made it,
Yo, what up? It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into the UpNUp Podcast on the UpNUp Network. I'm your host, Rubino.
No, I'm DJ man.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. Survived the heat wave, so I'm still here.
Man, fortunately, bro.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think part of me melted off, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, man, it's cooling down. But, but the heat wave was crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We hit, like, the highest, I think, out of, like, most cities in
100
the US.
years.
Yeah. 100 years?
In Seattle, yeah. It was
It's
like
crazy, man. Well,
like
shout
a
out to
record.
everybody who survived, man. And if this is your first time tuning in, this is the UpNUp Podcast. This is the podcast where we're focused on cultivating culture. We do that by providing amazing stories of individuals, groups, right? Movements.
Yep.
Hustlers, movers, shakers.
Yep.
Right?
All that, man.
You know what they do? They kick down doors, right?
Yeah.
Come through windows,
Yeah.
right?
Whatever they gotta do.
Do whatever they gotta do. Pave that way, man, for those coming from behind and staying on the up and up, man. And if this is your first time tuning in, thank you and welcome. Again, we always want to make sure we're shouting out the family members, right? We call them family members, the consistent supporters, viewers, not only of the UpNUp Podcast, but the UpNUp platform as a whole. Shout out to y'all, man. Salute to y'all, man. For real, we appreciate the support.
Always. Yep.
Anything you want? Any announcements you got? No crazy.
No, not
announcements?
really, man.
Okay.
No, not really.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all
All
good.
right. You just got something in your bag.
Yeah, I know, but it's all right.
All right, no, it's good. And for the first time listeners, we always make sure to pride ourselves to bring forth a special guest, right? Every episode is special to us.
Mm-hmm.
And, today's guest is a woman who I would say whose hustle and grind is nothing short of inspiring and motivating, as she's paving a way by defying stereotypes and living a life, as she would say, is undefined, right? She's definitely a true culture cultivator who's keeping everything she's doing on the up and up. She's the owner and founder of clothing company and brand Undefined. And just kind of give you some insight on the brand. The brand prides itself on being more than just a company that makes clothes, but more so making statements and encouraging all of us to live outside the box, or the boxes, I should say, that society has placed us in, and empowering everybody to really embody the aspects of our identities, cultures, and beliefs. And overall, man, just a very, very inspirational woman who's doing amazing work out here. Here in the city as well as beyond. Man, I'm excited. We're excited. So let's just get straight to it. Our guest is none other than the inspirational ultimate hustler, for real. She's really ultimate hustler. Dyesha Belhumeur. Can we get a round of applause?
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you guys for creating this space, in the city for the culture. Like, we really need these type of spaces. So thank you.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you being here, man. Long overdue. Kind of
Yeah.
full circle moment.
Right?
We'll talk about that. But how are you doing? Are you doing well?
Yeah, I survived the heat wave, so we're doing good, yeah.
And so if you're familiar with the show, we usually start the show with the quote of the day, something to kind of get the vibe right, get the conversation started. So, brother man.
Yeah,
I
man.
got the quotes on deck.
All right, quote of the day today is legalize blackness. Yeah.
Quote, end quote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was that by?
Well, I saw it on one of the T-shirts, and I was like, man, I got to use this one. Because I seen that T-shirt a lot, and I was like, wow. So it was another full circle moment. Full circle moment for me, too.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
It's a self-explanatory quote as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely the staple piece for the brand, for sure. For sure. I think that's definitely what we're most known for. That was the piece where Seattle started to really realize, like, oh, there's another brand. There's a brand in Seattle,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, when they started ordering, they didn't even realize we were Seattle based until they got the package. And then they would DM me and they're like, "Oh my God, you guys are based in Seattle?" Like, I live in Seattle. And I was like, yeah, Seattle love. So for sure.
I love it, man. That's a powerful quote, for real.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's just very direct.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the best quotes are just very direct.
Exactly.
It doesn't got to be really wordy. And Dyesha, so obviously, this platform is built on really storytelling, getting into people's journeys and whatnot. But before we get into kind of your story and your journey, as I touched on kind of your guys' mission statement in the intro, I would love to hear from your perspective, what it kind of means to embody, being undefined and kind of that brand mantra you guys have as far as living outside the box. How would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally that end piece that you just said. It's living outside the box. I feel like we as Black folks, as members of the LGBTQIA plus community, we're oftentimes placed in these boxes, and people are almost unable to see us outside of those boxes. Whether that's criminality and gangster as a label or stereotype, whether that's hypersexuality as a stereotype for the Black women. So I feel like there's all these different boxes that we're placed into, and we just kind of have to break outside those boxes. And so me, living undefined is really like being your truest self and not being afraid to do so, and really exuding that.
I love it.
Yeah, for real. That's
important.
powerful.
It's important though, and it's important that people put those messages out there too.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's like if you can't love yourself and be your truest self, how can you expect others to accept you for who you are? You know what I'm saying? If you don't even accept yourself at the most basic level.
That's real.
And so I feel like that's really what the core of Undefined is getting at. It's like, I don't care how you feel, I don't care how you feel, I don't care how you feel, this is me. And I fully embrace that and love that about myself.
Yeah. And
so when I walk into a space, you're gonna feel that. And so, in all honesty, Undefined is almost like a reflection of myself. Like the groups that I choose to represent are reflections of my own identity that I feel like are minority groups. Those being Black, Brown, LGBTQIA plus communities and women. So all of those core identities, I feel like, are ones that are often underrepresented and often ones that, we, like I said, time and time again, we get placed into these boxes.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's even hard for us to break out of them because we internalize a lot of that, And so, it's really just about breaking those boxes.
No, that's real. And I think we're conditioned too. Like, we don't know no better sometimes because we grow up in these quote-unquote boxes or definitions, right? We're being defined constantly. Like, this is how you're supposed to look, act, feel. This is how you're supposed to act in your career and in this job and, like, all these different things. And so I think part of growing up, and not just growing up and getting older by age, but more so evolving, is redefining shit, Like, redefining the things that you were lied to about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the best part, right? That's growth.
Yeah.
That's real.
Exactly.
So what was it like growing up for you? Just like your upbringing, where you grew up?
Yeah.
Like that.
So I'm not actually from Seattle. I'm actually from Federal Way, Washington. So that's where I grew up. I was born in Oregon, but raised out here. Moved out here when I was 4. So basically that's all I really know is out here, Federal Way, Washington. Was raised by a single parent, was the first in my family to actually go to college and graduate, and really am the first in my family to really start off on this entrepreneurial track outside of, my uncle who kind of started his own business around politics. But kind of my upbringing was real basic, it was making ends meet. It was living paycheck to paycheck, in all honesty, me and my mom shared a 1-bedroom apartment up until the point that I was like out of high school, and then in college I lived by myself when she kind of went her separate ways and was out in California. And then I kind of birthed Undefined right as she was coming back from California. So yeah, it was all for me. I think my upbringing was pretty generic, pretty chill. I 399 out of high school and got a merit scholarship to go to the University of Washington.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah,
That is big.
yeah. And then I graduated from there with a degree in business and administration with concentrations in finance and marketing. And so I actually, outside of Undefined, I do still have a regular 9-to-5 job, which not a lot of people realize,
Yeah.
and I do accounting.
Okay.
So I kind of have that business savvy aspect side of it, really fully understanding the basics, the fundamentals, which is what I try to help other entrepreneurials understand about their business.
Yeah.
But then also kind of this is like my Undefined is like my creative outlet,
Gotcha.
So
that balance is key too. It's interesting because I did read somewhere that a lot of kind of your inner drive to succeed and kind of what we call here stepping into your greatness stems from your relationship with your mother and kind of how she inspired you. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, so my mom wasn't like the greatest student. She had me when she was young. She had me at the age of conceived me when she was 20, had me when she was 21, so didn't even really get to have a 21st birthday. But for me, she always instilled in me like, I need you to go to school. I need you to be better than I am. I need you to, really establish yourself, build up your credit. Those are things that I was just certain things that I was always taught. And I think kind of that closeness and me kind of being raised by that single parent and having such that close proximity to reality, plus still kind of having that foot in childhood, kind of allowed me this acceleration for growing up. So it was like I always fully had this adult like mentality kind of all through childhood and kind of being brought up. And so I think that really like my closeness with her and just her belief, the amount that, the fact that she's literally the only person who's always in my corner. I mean, you could pull up to an event 9 times out of 10 and she's going to be the one in the booth, like
That's hard. That's
dope.
On a lot of the notes that you guys, if you guys have ordered from me in the past, like, a lot of the notes that get written, some of those are written directly by her, and some by me. So, she's very much involved in always being kind of that push to just keep me going,
No, that's amazing and it's powerful. When I read that, I was just like, what better drive and feel than that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I definitely have a lot of friends who come through all the time, and they're like, I really, like, love the relationship that you have with your mom, because it's like, not only is she my mother, but she's also, like, my best friend, so it's like that real, true balance of, you've got that stability, that person who's always going to kind of stick it to you, but then you've also got that person who's like, I'm your support, I'm your ride or die, like, I got you, whatever, know, so it's a really good balance.
It's important, man. I always say this, like, I think the most important job anybody will ever have is being a parent, regardless. Right? Like,
100.
No matter
Straight
what
up.
For sure.
position you think you hold, that's important. Like, nothing's more important than a parent.
For
so
sure.
She definitely did a great job.
She'll probably hear this and be happy about that.
So, can you cut that clip?
Right, for real. just that piece. Just that piece.
That's dope.
So, how was like the transition for you, like going into clothing? Like, how'd you get into like clothing, like for real?
Man, I really stumbled into it.
Yeah.
It was not planned. This wasn't something where I was like, I'm about to start a brand tomorrow. Like, this is really what I want to do. I actually had bought a kind of Black Power type bomber jacket from this other entity. He was located somewhere like down south or something, and he was a plug from one of my friends who were out here.
Yeah.
And I got the hoodie, and every single time, or got the bomber jacket, and every single time I would walk around, kind of I was always getting compliments. People were asking me like, "Where'd you get that hoodie? Where'd you get that bomber? Where'd you get that jacket? Where'd you get that jacket?" So I tried to hit him up to kind of do a wholesale order. I was out that hustle mentality. Like, okay, let me get these at a bulk price. I could flip them out here. You're growing your brand. I'm making money. Everybody's winning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he literally never responded, and I was patient. I waited like 6 months, to even go off on the track of trying to start something or doing anything. And he kind of just never got back to me. And so after that, I was like, well, then I guess I'm just about to make my own bomber jacket.
Hey,
and
there you
so
go.
it literally started with the KXP bomber jacket. And then I also created what people are now knowing as, kind of the Black Panther design.
Yeah.
And so I sat on I had both of those designs, kind of sat on the Black Panther design because I was actually originally trying to work directly with the Black Panther Huey P. Newton Foundation, which owns that trademark.
Gotcha.
They own the official Black Panther logo.
Yeah.
And they, I got through to Frederica Newton, and she was kind of like, yeah, it's going to take board meetings. We only have board meetings like twice a year. It's just, it's going to be really hard to get this on. And, so I kind of just dropped that, ran with the KXP bomber jackets. And those sold, and they had good traction.
Gotcha.
And then all of a sudden, to be honest, it was like I felt like messages could just kind of started pouring out of me. And Legalized Blackness was actually the second design that I created at the end of, I want to say 2018 is when I actually started creating and trying to create the prints for that design and that shirt.
Got it.
And honestly, it was just after that, stuff just kept coming. And so I was like, well, if stuff just keeps coming, I might as well just keep creating. I felt like at that point it had grown to more than just a bomber jacket. It was a true brand identity. And then that's kind of when Undefined was developed as the whole brand, and then kind of the slogan was developed. And so that's just, everything just kind of started rolling. I really truly just kind of stumbled into this. I literally did not plan for this to happen at all.
I'm curious though, because I feel like, it seems like you kind of knew the how from the jump.
Nah.
Right. Well, not like the how, but more so how to sell clothes, right? Like how to flip shit, right, in a hustler's way. But
okay, yeah.
No,
yeah.
That's what I mean.
Flipping stuff,
yeah,
flipper, big flipper, yeah.
And sometimes, we know how to do shit, but then it's like, where's the why behind why we're going to continue doing it?
Yeah,
because sometimes,
for sure.
You might do a one-off, all right, I did that. Why would I continue doing that? So I'm curious, because a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, they come in and they have a great idea. It might have some early traction, but usually, what I see is people who have a really strong why are able to get past that when that traction may die down a little bit, to continue, right, to keep going forward and keep progressing. So for you, when did that why kind of click for you to where you knew I'm committed to this, regardless of the highs and lows? Because highs and lows are inevitable.
Yeah, nah, honestly, so actually about 7 or 8 months into starting the brand, somebody broke into my car and stole a third worth of my product that I had at that time. So it was literally $2,000-$3,000 worth of my merch that was stolen.
Wow.
And it was never recovered. So when that happened, I was defeated. This Undefined was not going to be anymore as of that point. I really struggled for 2 months before I decided, to just kind of make that push. And then literally right after that was kind of when we had the summer where Legalized Blackness blew up. And so it was kind of okay, if I just keep pushing, I'll be good, but it's you don't see what's on the other side until you push through. But yeah, it was really crazy just how everything happened. It was kind of just fate, I really didn't think that Undefined was going to be anymore when somebody stole it. And so after that, once I decided okay, I'm going to double down. I'm going to invest 2 times as much. I'm getting 2 times as much inventory. Double downing on events where, we're literally in every event from Federal Way to Seattle, you're likely going to find us. If there's an event in Tacoma that doesn't, contrast with an event in Seattle, you're going to see us there too. So it was literally just from that moment, that was okay, yeah, this is something that I really believe in. It's more than just a brand. It's more than just selling clothes. It's really the messages. It's really the statement. It's really about who we actually can represent with what we're creating. It's about the empowerment that you feel when you wear our brand.
Exactly.
And so that really just convinced me. After that, I was like, yeah, okay, I got to keep going. And right after, literally the next summer 2020 was when it was I saw the fruits of all that labor. I saw the fruits of the blood, the sweat, the tears, the questions, all of that,
It's amazing how that works too. right? Because if you go through it one time, when you encounter something else, you already know what's on the other side of it, right? You've seen it before. So,
but you have to have the courage to push through the first time, though. And it's like not a lot of people make it there, you know? Like a lot of people really get shut down, and it's like, I just can't go anymore, you know? And I was literally at that point. I was at the point where I was going to be one of those folks who just stopped, you know? And it's like once you push through that first time, it's like, okay, yep, I know what to expect every single time. I know I'm going to be tested. And at the point that I'm tested, I got to buckle down and I got to power through, and it's going to be good. You know, so something else is going to be even more fruitful on the other side once I get through it, you know?
Growth.
So
definitely. Well, we're glad you didn't stop though. So.
Yeah, me too, man, for sure. For sure.
That's inspiring, man, for real. Because there's, you know, everybody goes through it. You're going to hit roadblocks, but I think it's important to hear these stories of people who, you know, people sometimes only see the end result, right? But what goes into that, what you have to go through to get to that end result is, it's enjoyable when you look back on it. But
exactly, not at the time. I don't know if it's as enjoyable at the time. You know,
the moment it's confusing and all that, but you gotta embrace it, like you said. You gotta embrace those moments.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's your like a business background? Like, did you take some of those strategies and like apply it, like when you first started Undefined?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know? I mean, one of the things that I feel like I really preach and bleed outside of my brand is financial literacy for our community. You know, and I feel like having that finance background is really where I ended up going hard, because I felt like that's where we had the most need. And so even right now, you know, I've even created ebooks around, you know, how do you get started in developing your own business? How do you, once you have a business, how do you file all your taxes? You know, especially in the state of Washington, like literal snapshots of the form. How do you do your deductions? How do you do all that? How does that tie into your personal taxes if you're a sole proprietor, if you're an LLC? You know, like all those different things came from that basis of that financial background. And so I feel like I kind of brought a lot of that into just how I managed my company, how I track all my finances, and then how I talk to other entrepreneurs and other small business owners in our community about how to do the same thing as well.
That's powerful.
Yeah, that's dope. I did see that too on your website. I was like, oh yeah, we might have to tap in with it.
For sure.
Oh yeah, for sure,
You know?
for sure.
Yeah, and I think, because I'm curious too, because, you know, nothing's ever perfect, and I think balance is the key, right? So for you being a full-time entrepreneur, but also having, you know, your accounting duties that you do, and then who knows what else you're into. I mean, I know like people be trying to do a lot, and it's fine, but you know, for people who are doing a lot and have a lot of energy in which they want to distribute to different things, do you have advice for how they can manage their energy distribution into all these different passions?
Time blocking, because I mean, I'm also in grad school. You know, I mean, I'm on a break right now for this like 2 weeks, but I go back, you know, just after the 4th of July. So I'm in grad school to actually get a master's in professional accounting to really be able to, like, if I want to, I can actually go forth and try to achieve the CPA certification. But even just having the master's kind of elevates me so that I can really say, okay, you know, look, I have a master's in this. If you really want the help, we can start from here. But once I get that CPA certification, you know, the price goes up. So you might as well just get the same knowledge for a cheaper price now. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it comes down to time blocking. Like, you know, for me, it's like, okay, once I get off, I'm clocking off at this time every day. I don't care what duties are on the calendar, what emails are in my box. I'm clocking off at this time. And then right after that, I'm going straight into, you know, homework. I'm doing homework for a minimum of 2 to 3 hours. Then I make sure I take like a 30-minute break to eat if I haven't eaten in between. And then after that, I make sure I dedicate time to my business. So it's really, for me, it's literal time blocking, you know, like sketching out what my day looks like. And then it really just comes down to organization. Like if you can't be organized in your personal life, it's going to be real hard to have an organized business, you know? That's real.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, I was like, yeah, I need to.
You got to buckle down.
And it's a constant refinement process too, because you're always going to be coming into new tasks.
Right? For sure. And I mean, I think it comes down to prioritization too. Like you're not going to have the same priorities every single week.
Exactly.
You know, so this week it might be, all right, I got to prioritize grad school. And the next week it's, you know, I got event after event after event. So I'm prioritizing Undefined. You know, I might be just sent out an email and I'm turning around trying to print out orders to, you know, get everybody's stuff in the mail. So, you know, the customer service is on point. So,
it's a learning process.
Dope.
For sure.
I love it, and I think you kind of touched on it. You said there was a moment after kind of going through those early struggles where the legalized blackness design really like caught fire and started taking off. I noticed like I even seen your guys' Instagram. I noticed like people like Ava Duvernay and Charlamagne Tha God. I seen them rocking the legalized blackness. And so for you, what was that like when you saw kind of the impact in which your brand had, way beyond maybe what you imagined at the time?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of shell shocked. Like the first celeb that actually had my stuff on, we kind of got video of it. We seen that he was wearing it on tour was Jid,
Wow.
JID.
Yeah.
And once I saw that, I was literally spazzing. Like I took a break at work. I'm calling my best friend like, oh my God, like Jid's in my stuff. Did you see it? Have you seen the videos? I'm like tagging. So, and then I think every single time after that, it was kind of like, all right, now this is kind of becoming normalized. So how do I make this a trend? Because it's like, yeah, we're really known for legalized blackness, but also Undefined is a lot more than just the legalized blackness brand or just the legalized blackness collection.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, okay, yeah, now that all these people are being seen in legalized blackness and all this attention is being brought to this collection, how do I now gravitate some of these eyes towards a lot of the other stuff that I have going on as well?
Gotcha.
So, but it was definitely, I feel like every time it's still kind of like, dang, like I got this much reach.
Yeah, the strategic element, I like that though, because, it's like, we live in a day and age is crazy. I don't know if people really understand. Like, you never know who's watching. Like real shit.
Real.
You never know who's seeing what you're doing.
For real.
No matter what the front-facing metrics say, if you got like 10 views or whatever, like that, out of that 10, it could be Obama. Who knows?
For real.
You never know, right?
You never know.
So it's always good to always be thinking strategically, regardless of, when those moments come or when they don't come. Right?
Exactly. And I mean, it really just comes down to staying consistent. I mean, if I stopped after JID was in my shirt and thought that was enough, would Undefined be where it's at today? If I stopped after Ava Duvernay, would it be where it's at today? If I stopped after Charlamagne, if I stopped after Matt if I stopped after one celebrity was seen in my clothes and thought that I made it just because one celebrity was seen in my clothes, I feel like, honestly, I'll make it when I touch enough people.
That's real.
When I see my message everywhere, then I'll feel like I'll made it.
That's real.
That's when I feel like I can start changing the lives of people in my community, like offering internships, offering scholarships, different things like that. Then I'll feel like, okay, I've achieved my purpose in life. And now I can feel like I can say I made it, But I feel like until that moment, just having a celebrity in my clothes doesn't really, that's not really a pat on the back for me. Like I got to do more, it really comes down to, for me, what you can actually do, what you can actually do in the community. What can I do with that reach? Just to have a celebrity in the clothes doesn't really, what is that going to do?
It helps. I think it helps, but like you said, it helps get those messages in which you strongly are behind and trying to get out there, right?
Definitely.
And I think it's a platform, right? So you're able to kind of intersect their platform, and I think the impact through clothes that people don't realize, like they think it's like a dope design, but it's really like a vehicle. If you think about it, really, it's like a vehicle for an expression that needs to get out. So I love it.
And you could literally be a walking billboard. I am, like, literally every single day. I'm in my clothes.
No, I feel
and there's people who are always like, why every single time I see you, you're in your clothes. Why? Well, I have a brand. Why would I not wear my own clothes?
Exactly.
I feel like if you're not wearing your own clothes, and do you really believe that strongly about what you're producing? Because I know I do. I believe in the quality. I believe in the message. I believe in every single thing about Undefined. So
and everything, you're not lying.
I love it.
So
exactly.
It's crazy you say that. It's crazy you say that because I read an interview that you did, an article, and you had a quote where you said you have to be cut out for this kind of clothing. Is a reminder of your strength and power, right?
Yeah.
Can you touch on that a little bit more in terms of like what you meant by that?
Oh yeah, I mean, literally just a second ago, I went to go eat tacos in Cap Hill, and I walked through a crowd of white people. There's not a brown colored black person in sight, and I literally saw about 5-6 people that looked directly at this hoodie, turned their face up, looked away, looked back like, okay, did I just see what I just saw? and then kind of turn back again like, oh, hell nah. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, you got to be cut out for this. Like, you know, you got to be able to feel uncomfortable. You know, you got to be able to walk into a room and feel like, yeah, all eyes are on me and I'm not really sure how I feel about this, and feel comfortable in that moment.
Yep.
You know, and so when I said, like, you really got to be cut out for this, that's what I mean. Like, this is not made for the weak, you know? Like, if somebody, like, I've had multiple people walk up to me and feel some type of way about my clothes. Feel some type of way about my message, whether they're black, white, brown, don't matter what the color is, you know? And the most thing that they feel some type of way about is how outward it is. You know, like, legalized blackness is really like our largest piece. You know, it's when you're walking down the street, people can see it from across the street, up there, way over there. Like, it's visible. You know, it's really loud. And so I feel like you have to be ready to make a statement. And if you're not ready for that, then this brand might not be for you.
That's real though, because people gonna ask.
It
don't always gotta be no smoke, but you know, sometimes it's like they want
exactly.
They want to learn, right? So
exactly.
If I'm gonna rock something, I gotta know what it's about, or at least who made it, where it came
sure.
from, what's the inspiration behind it,
for sure.
things of that nature. So that's real. I like that.
So, like, being in the clothing space, I mean, we kind of got merch too, but just for like anybody that has a brand and all that, you know, there's like when they take their garments to get printed or whatever, there's that downtime, and it's like it varies. So it's like, I guess a piece of advice. What would be a piece of advice to do during that downtime? You know, because some people, they just be like, oh yeah, I'm just waiting for my clothes, and then they're just not doing nothing. You know,
market. You gotta push. I mean, one of the things that I used to be that way, you know, like, oh my God, I don't have my product, so I can't take pictures. I can't do this. I can't do that. Okay, well, you can share content around the push that's getting ready to come out. You can share digital mock-ups of the items that you have. Like, you can get hype around what it is that you're getting ready to release. You know, so I feel like, honestly, I feel like there is no downtime as a business owner. I can't remember when the last time I really had downtime. You know, and if it's like, if that's what you're waiting on, okay, well then apply yourself elsewhere. You know, are there other designs that you could be creating? Is there any way that you can have better control over the process so that maybe you can have some oversight? Maybe you can even go see how whoever's embroidering or printing or whatever the design technique is that's being done. Can you go watch that? Can you go talk to them about what that process is? I mean, realistically, like, having a brand is not just about the clothes that you create. It sometimes comes down to who you know, and like you guys said before, like, kind of who you can get in front of, you know? And so, like, network is your best work. Like, you got to really like get next to people, you know, like, show people love. Like, okay, how are you? Show interest in what people are doing, you know? Like, I've been establishing a relationship with the printer that I mainly utilize for the last 3 years, and now I'm able to start working on building another relationship with another, you know, black-owned, POC-owned printer out here. And so I think it really just comes down to building relationships and utilizing those. So even while you have downtime with those clothes, if you're chilling, hey yo, can I pull up? Can I see what the process is like for the screen print? Can I see what the process is like for embroidery? Can I come see how you guys are working? Can I whatever? You know, I mean, I feel like you really got to know as much as you possibly can about what it is that you're doing, even if you don't control that portion of the process. So like, I know a lot about screen printing, about the process, about inks that they use, about the dry time, about, you know, all that different type of stuff. But I wouldn't know that if I didn't do the research. You know, if I just used downtime as downtime and really didn't, you know, put it to work.
No, that's real. And I think it's natural if you actually truly care about something and you're passionate about it. You're gonna nerd out over it. Like, so there's always something to do, even when you feel like there's nothing to do. That's real. That's real. And I guess, because, you know, I feel like it's becoming more and more easier to kind of start a brand, right? And sell merch nowadays. And
I was about to say, there's a difference between starting a brand and selling merch, you know? Like, because there's people who sell T-shirts, and there's people who sell clothes, and there's people who are really trying to start brands, you know? Like, really start pushes behind what they believe in, behind a mission, vision, value statement, you know? And so I feel like those, you know... The selling merch is a part of building a brand, but that's not all that building a brand comes down to. You know, it comes down to really building a community around what it is that you believe in and what it is that you're passionate about.
That's real. And I think, well, you said passionate about, and I think that's kind of what I was trying to figure out is like, balancing a passion while having those fundamental business responsibilities can be difficult for some people, right? Especially if you really love the creative side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of like two models there. There's a business model and a creative model, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you have tips for people on how to balance that? Because I think that applies to a lot of, not just, apparel and design, but it could be anything. Right?
Oh yeah, honestly, it could be any business. And I think if you can't balance it, at the least find a bookkeeper and get a business account. Like that's really as simple as you can make it. Get a business account, run literally every single expense and every single piece of revenue or income through that one account on that one card. And if you can't manage that, then get a bookkeeper. Bookkeepers are cheap. You do not need an accountant. You only need a bookkeeper, Because I think a lot of people fall into the trap of, oh my God, I need an accountant, and really not. You just need somebody who can make sure that you know what your income is, what your expenses are, and you can actually lay that out and take that into somebody who can file your taxes every year. As long as you have that breakdown, you don't really need an accountant.
Got you.
Yeah.
You got to be active, though. You got to get out there.
100%.
Go find those people.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was just listening to another podcast, Millionaire Mindset, and they're breaking down all that. Like, even if you can't find an accountant, like use QuickBooks or something in the beginning. Just get just
I'm
get
telling
it in,
you, it's so much more simple than people think. I promise you. Like, you can literally create whatever categories work for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, paint supplies, easels, like all office supplies, like no matter which way you slice it, just create your different categories. Those are your expense buckets, and then literally all you're doing is just categorizing your expenses. As long as you're running it through one account, one business account, is just categorizing every single month, like telling that where to go, and that builds your statement for you.
Exactly.
And so it's like, if you can just do that, you can take 30 minutes out of every single month. And that's enough time to categorize every single expense for most small business owners.
They're recurring, so it ain't like it's going to change up.
Exactly.
And they're kind of breaking it down, like, how can you be successful if you don't know the money coming in and going out?
I tell people that all the time. They're like, I think I'm making enough. Like, but you don't know. You don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know where you're spending all that money that you're making. You don't know if you're actually, like, what your profit margin is. You don't know what your cost margin. Like, you have no realistic numbers for your business.
Yeah.
All you can say is, I'm making money. You know, you don't know if you're making $2 or if you're making $2,000. You know, so
that's real. And I think what you were getting at earlier, as far as helping people get up to speed with financial literacy, right, and being that resource for them is important, right? So I think, but it's a two-way street too. You gotta want to go get the knowledge too. But it's out here, man. It's really out here.
I mean, it's everywhere. Like, you really just gotta.
Especially nowadays.
Really now, I mean, you could Google for free. Like I said, I got the ebooks for like less than $30. You know, like
it's in her bio. And so I also want to touch on this because I'm a big fan of the brand, and like you said, branding is a totally different thing as opposed to just even marketing or just trying to sell some shit, right? And for Undefined, because it's such a very impactful brand, and it's really connected to people, right? And I think that's how I always look at it. Is like, at the end of the day, if you're connecting to people, you're doing the right thing, right? So for you, was there a moment that you can recall, kind of like that first moment when the mission of Undefined kind of revealed itself back to you through maybe a customer purchase or something, some sort of feedback? Because I feel like everybody has that moment where it's like, oh, this is why the fuck I'm doing this. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, like I said from the beginning, like, this brand started as a reflection of me. Like, I feel like everything that I've felt my entire life kind of just came out creatively through the brand and is still coming out. So it's like, honestly, this has been a buildup of kind of just how I felt in terms of just always being boxed in, like, when I worked for, case in point, you know, like I told you guys before, I went to the University of Washington, and when I was go Dogs. We know. And
it's all good. It's all good, man.
I don't know if it's love over here, but
my siblings with you, though, so that's all good.
Oh, okay. So you're dogged out then, huh? You like the loner then, huh?
So you were saying?
Yeah, man. Look, you done got me on track. I don't even remember what I was saying.
Well, I was like, we're gonna jump Abdi when you leave.
No, right. We're talking about the brand revealing itself.
But when I was kind of, when I was working my way through college, a lot of people would kind of, they would say, oh, you're going to school? What school do you go to? You're going to Highline? And I was like, I mean, no shade to anybody who goes to Highline at all. Anybody who starts at a community college, but like, why is that automatically the assumption? You know, and I mean, it wasn't just one, it wasn't just two. Like, I mean, every single person that came through it was like, yeah, you go. Never did I get a SPU, a SU, you know, St. Martin's, UW. I mean, there's so many different colleges in the area. Why is it just Highline that I would be going to? You know, why is it? So it's like, you know, there was that. There was, oh, you have locks, so you must smoke weed. You've got to be a crazy pothead if you have locks. You know, there was, you know, there's just all these different, the way that you're supposed to present yourself because you're gay and, you know, I think you look like a stud. So shouldn't you really present yourself really super masculine? Like, you know, so it's just all these different boxes that I was like, yeah, but I'm none of these things, you know, and I literally never have been. So for me, it was literally like, yeah, nah, this is not any aspect of my identity. And I never felt like you could just place me into any one box. I never felt like you could just be like, yep, you're exactly what I think you are. And you're definitely going to fit the bill, because I feel like I'm always more than that. You know, and so the Undefined really became a reflection of that. And then, you know, growing up, I always had, you know, I came out as gay at a really young age, you know, when it was not cool to be gay, you know, and I got a lot of kind of hate for that, you know. But then growing up, as I got older, there was a lot of people who reached out to me who later came out as gay, like, you know, the way that you kind of lived in your truth really allowed me to kind of eventually do the same. And I think just getting a lot of those different messages, getting the messages about, oh, this is Undefined, really like makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel pride when I wear your clothes. All of those different things kind of just added to really solidified what I was doing with Undefined and kind of the mission behind Undefined, the slogan behind Undefined.
That's real.
You know?
That's real. That's powerful.
For real.
Those moments are what it's about, really. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it takes, like people say, it takes a village, you know, and it takes a village for a lot more than one thing. And part of that is keeping people going, you know, to support. You can support in more ways than one, and it does not have to be monetary.
Facts.
You know,
Yeah.
so
On everything.
For real, it is, man.
and I feel like a lot of people forget that, you know, just for you to be like, hey, yo, check out Undefined. This is a dope brand. You know, I really, just that goes further. You know, sharing somebody's post. You know, tagging somebody on somebody's post. Small things like that elevate people's brand because it shows other people that the community is already invested in you.
Man. It does not take anything to support people,
man. At all.
And it comes in different forms. It's a gray area, low key, because it's like you can support people just by being present.
Exactly.
Just by acknowledge that you know and you recognize what they're doing.
Exactly.
And then fall back. You're like, shit, at least they acknowledged it. That might give someone that extra push that they were waiting for. You never know. So
exactly.
That's big. That's big. I love it.
I feel like I know your answer to this question, but how important are just going back to clothing, but how important is like garment selection? I know that's everything.
Yeah, nah, for me, I'm real picky. I'm even picky about just the clothes I wear as an individual.
Yeah.
So that already kind of bleeds through to my brand. So I'm not putting anything out that I wouldn't wear. And that's just me, you know, like I feel like if you're starting a brand, the word of advice is don't ever use Gildan. I understand it's cheap, but it's a terrible quality shirt, you know, like it's just, that's not what, if you want to build a brand, it's not what you do. If you want to just sell some merch, if you want to, you know, push off a couple t-shirts, maybe run a couple presses, use a Gildan, you know, it's cheap. But if you really build a brand, don't do that, you know. And I feel like for us, one of our staples is quality. A lot of, if you go look at our reviews, if you look at a lot of the comments, a lot of the feedback that we get is I legitimately didn't know that the quality was going to be this good of your product, you know. And not only do you have a dope message, but now you have a dope quality, so now that makes me want to buy from your brand even more, plus your customer service on top of that. So exactly, you know. So I feel like, you know, garment selection is beyond important, you know, because like I said, that reflects on the quality of your brand, and people see that, you know, people feel it, you know, when they wear it, you know. And I think that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of people who will wear legalized blackness every other weekend, whether it's the t-shirt or the hoodie or
everything. We going a cartoon.
Till it dies, you know, till it dies.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah. So it's like garment selection is absolutely important, you know, and design technique is just as top tier as garment selection, you know, because if you have a dope garment, but your design washes off, you know, after the first time I put it in the washer, well, I can't wear it no more.
Yeah,
you know, it decreases the quality. So I mean, both factors
quality controls
are important.
Yeah, because I feel like when people jump into selling clothes, they're more looking at margins. Like, all right, let me get this cheap shirt, like you said, like gilded. It's like, oh, let me get this just so I can sell this for that and then make that, you know. But it's like it goes deeper than that because it's like it shows the consumer like you care, you know. So.
Exactly. I mean, I even have people who will hit me like, hey, yo, the seam is off, or, you know, I got this weird streak, and, oh, yep, send it back. We'll exchange that right away, you know, because I don't even want you to have a defective product. You know, that missed my quality check, and that's my bad. Yeah. So, you know, I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure that you get the quality product that you actually deserve as a customer. You know, and I feel like for me, just customer service is so key, you know, and I think a lot of other businesses like that. Like you said, they're focused on the margins, they're focused on volume, they're focused on how much they can sell, but it's like, you know, don't nobody want to wait on a pre-order for 3 months.
Yeah, for real,
You know, I mean, some will, but I don't, especially not after I paid my money. You got your money right away. Can I get my product at least in a reasonable amount of time, or within, you know, can I get some updates? Can I get, you know, something? You know, but yeah.
That's good though. That's good information, man.
For real.
Just dropping gems out here.
Try not to give y'all too much for free, you know.
Don't worry, that's my last one.
We got ebooks in the link in the bio, man. Well, speaking to kind of you know, the different services and resources and stuff you provide, for what's ahead, you kind of have some things that, I mean, obviously you brought some merch here. Obviously this is a very dope design and jersey here. But like, what are some things people could be looking forward to for Undefined coming up?
Everything. I mean, we're really like, we basically just kind of cracked the cement, essentially, you know, like we kind of just laid the foundation. People are starting to know who we are. You know, I was really adamant about not pushing the brand off of my name, off of who I am or who I know. I was more so adamant about, if you like these clothes, buy these clothes. You know, so me, I'm the person who tries to remain behind the veil. I don't like to be known. I don't like to be seen. So insofar as that, like we've just now kind of locked in some solid manufacturers within the last year. And so now we have a lot more flexibility with what we're able to produce. So, you know, we've got something special for Seattle coming out, which is our town collection, you know, like you said, you see a little piece over there in the corner.
This is one of the collection pieces.
Yep. One of the collection pieces from the, yep. There's,
I ain't even seen him yet,
there's crazy stuff,
I'm
you know.
on the lookout.
Yeah, we got hooded jerseys that, you know, a couple people have been hating on, you know, we won't say no names, but you know, we got shorts, we got tank tops, we got crop tops finally for a lot of the ladies who have been asking, you know, and non-binary folks who, you know, of course love the crop tops. We've got crazy amount of sweatsuits. I love sweatsuits.
Oh yeah, me
so too. Sweatsuits, sweat short sets, you know, those are coming out.
I need it.
You know, we got Sherpa hoodies coming out. We got swim trunks coming out. Like we've been cooking so much. It's like we're like literally getting on the ball. So for sure. We're gonna do slow. You know, we're gonna do it slow. But
I love it because it just kind of shows how much you guys have expanded creatively, right? And,
exactly.
Man, keep on up now.
Oh,
Sky's the limit for real. Yeah, this is dope. And so usually, or every episode, I should say, before we get our guests out of here, we always ask this question.
My bad. I gotta cut you off.
Go ahead.
My bad, because you got a lot of stuff going on, like your website, your social media, everything. So I was gonna say, can you just name that for the folks watching?
Where can people tap in?
We'll get to that, but my bad. I just had to do that.
Yeah, of course. Insofar as the brand, you can find us on Instagram _undefined clothing. You can also find us on Facebook, undefinedclothing.18. And you can also find us on Twitter with Legalized Blackness. So, you know, we're kind of on all platforms. We got a little different variations so that you can find us in different ways. And then, of course, you can always find us at our website, www.liveundefined.us.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
I I love it. Tap in, y'all. Tap in, man. But yeah, so like I was saying, so we usually ask this question, or normally ask this question for guests, kind of to sum up what's ahead, and kind of compile what we just discussed. So if you can, what's one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up, and why? If you could.
Productivity. Yeah, I think productivity, for sure. I think for me, it's always like, how do I maximize productivity every single day? Whether that's towards Undefined, towards the accounting, towards the degree, whatever it is, it's just kind of literally continuing growth. Always, like, how can I be better this day than I was the day before? And that's really just the focus, being productive every single day. How can I continue to just lay stones, you know?
Lay a brick a day.
Yeah, you be saying that too.
See, look, there you go.
Yeah. I love it. Productivity. And that applies to life in general. Right?
Yeah.
You got to stay productive on everything.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like that.
Every facet. So
I think that's the first time we got productivity for the up and up one word.
Yeah.
I believe
I think so, actually. Yeah.
Salute.
People be enlightened on here, huh?
Yeah, man. So, but Dyesha, again, man, thank you for coming through. We wish you much success with everything you're doing, with the brand, everything moving forward. Man, it's been amazing.
Yeah, we appreciate it all.
Man, thank you guys for having me. It's been like you said, it came full circle. I remember when we was in the room hearing you guys pitch about this. So it's crazy to see dope. How influential you guys have become, and how much of a staple you guys have become for the city and for our culture. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
That was a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Like 2017. Good times. Man. Good times. Anyway, Dyesha, thank you for coming through. And with that said, I think it's safe to say Dyesha Belhumeur and the whole Undefined team are officially members of the Up and Up. Can we get
To continue supporting the podcast and the entire Up and Up movement, be sure to rate, review, like, and subscribe.
As well as follow us at _the Up and Up on all social media platforms to stay connected with everything the Up and Up has coming your way.
Thanks for listening, and until the next one,
keep it on the Up and Up.